Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Compassion and Courage, Conversations in Healthcare. This is the podcast where we teach compassionate communication, provide perspective, and inspire resiliency. I'm Marcus Engel.
And I'm Marveline Engel.
AKA The Hotness. And we're excited to be with you all today. We were having some discussions about how to talk about what we want to share this holiday season. And we did the typical questioning each other of what were your favorite childhood memories of the holidays and of Christmas. So what were yours?
My favorite memories are definitely, getting together from when I was a child, when we could get together with cousins and stuff, which we never lived near them, so it was always a treat.
Big family,
right?
Yeah,
just being together and waking up Christmas morning. What's your favorite memories of childhood?
My favorite memories of childhood, or my favorite memories of childhood Christmas. I definitely remember being in elementary school, and granted, growing up in St. Louis, we got some winter weather, but we didn't always get a lot of winter weather, and it's by no means guaranteed that a white Christmas is going to happen every year, or maybe even every decade. But I do remember being in elementary school, probably second or third grade, and waking up to Christmas morning and there's presents under the tree, and then hearing one of my parents say, "Did you look outside?" And we opened up the curtains and the blinds in the living room, and oh my gosh, white snow everywhere to the tune of a couple of inches. And it really was pretty magical to have that happen as a child.
Well, I'm telling you, I never had a white Christmas. We were mostly in Florida, or at least the South, and if it was white, it was sand.
Yeah,
there was definitely no snow. So I'm really kind of jealous. I still dream of a white Christmas, and I feel like we need to have like music in the background. But tell me what your favorite gift as a kid was. Do you have a favorite gift? Do you remember, or something that sticks out?
The favorite gift that I probably remember was whenever I was in kindergarten or first grade, and I got a train set. And I remember a train set for a little kid that age was pretty spectacular.
Is that the one that's still in your
It's still in my
basement?
mom and dad's basement that my dad still plays with. It still runs and everything. Dad still shows it off to some of the kids from the community. So yeah, that was one of my favorite gifts as a kid.
It is spectacular, and I know your nieces and nephews have grown up playing with it too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. What about you?
The biggest memory I have, and I'm sorry in advance, Mom, for telling this, but the biggest memory I have, I was 16, so I was not little, but I had wanted a guitar. I wanted my own guitar. I wanted an Ovation, which were super expensive. We couldn't have afforded that. But Ovation made like a knockoff guitar called Applause. Ovation
Still
Applause,
do.
Right? Oh, they still make the Applause?
Well, there's still the Applause, which is like the knockoff version of an Ovation, yes, okay. But only guitar nerds would really care about this conversation.
Sorry about that, y'all. But I wanted one so bad, and we wake up Christmas morning, and we run under the tree, and there's clearly no guitar, and my sisters are opening their presents, and all I received was a package of underwear and a package of socks, and that was it. And I thought, I must have been a very bad girl this year, which I really wasn't. I was such a nerd. I was always a good kid. But I didn't say anything. It was just like rather internally devastating. And my introverted self didn't say anything. And my sisters are getting all this stuff. And I went all day thinking that was all I got. And when we got to my grandparents' house, that night, my parents came out and said, "Oh, we forgot." And they truly had forgotten to tell me that I would get my present that night. And it was at my grandparents' house, and my dad came out playing the Applause that I promptly named Doc. And
Doc, not Duck. Doc.
DOC, right?
Yes.
DR, doctor. I was, of course, ecstatic, but I had spent a very sad Christmas
That
day.
is a very sad Christmas day.
Sorry, Mom, for telling that you were forgetful.
But I'll tell you what, we still love that guitar.
I still have it, and all the kids play it.
In fact, it's probably sitting over there right now in the corner.
You know what? It's the other side.
Oh, okay.
It is. Yeah. It's right there by the piano. We do. We play it. We love it, and I've had it since I was 16, which was a whole 10 years ago.
Exactly. My gosh. Wow. 10 years ago. But so yeah, that's one of those gifts that truly keeps on giving throughout the years.
And it makes a great story about, my childhood was so sad. They never remembered me.
I don't know if your childhood is all that sad. It was just one sad Christmas day. It
wasn't at all.
But there do seem to be some pretty magical things that happen around the holidays. And I think back on that snowy Christmas morning, and I think of other times when I think of whenever you and I were in New York and got to go to see Saturday Night Live, a live airing of Saturday Night Live, and Rockefeller Center and all of that.
Which I don't recommend. It's super crowded.
It is very, very, very crowded.
But definitely magical.
Absolutely.
And I think of all the years of getting gifts for the children and seeing their little faces light up. And that was always, when you got it right, you got that thing they wanted. It was always fun. That was more fun in my mind than receiving it. Was making other people super happy at Christmas.
Yeah, and Christmas. When you talk about gift giving, that I guess I like how we started with the idea that gifts are given, kind of like the wise men gave baby Jesus gifts, but these days, gosh, the materialism of our society, especially around the holidays, gives me some pause for concern. But
it's true.
But we still, of course, anytime we give a gift, it's out of generosity. It's out of generosity, and I think that really generosity is the magic of Christmas. If we think about the spectacular things that have happened, it's usually because of the generosity of another person, and that's just what we call Christmas spirit, or whatever you want to call it. The thing of it is, that ain't just at Christmas, right? That's not just at Christmas. The magic is all around us if we are tuned in enough and paying enough attention to look at it. And if we're also open enough to consider things magic that may just be kind of fun, too, right?
It definitely is. And, and we're using the word magic metaphorically, obviously. But, what makes Christmas special? Well, people get in the mood. They run and grab. I know we do. Their different families do. Grab a person off the angel tree, or, you find a family you don't know that you can do something for, and the kids get all into it and get to help do that. And that's an amazing thing.
That's a gift that we try to give our grandkids, to try to get them in the idea of generosity. We specifically highlight this at Christmas time, but we really try to do this during the year too, is understanding that I think maybe this is how we balance that idea of our very materialistic, stuff-driven society, is that we're generous to others who don't have stuff, right? And who may not have the resources or the capabilities to get what they need. So we try to focus on generosity and donating and such at this time of year. And I hope that we're leaving a legacy for kids, that they're going to end up remembering that generosity is a big part of the whole holiday spirit too.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that, just as you mentioned earlier, going from not just Christmas, but holding that thought, holding that idea, what can I give? What can I do for somebody? But still enjoying it yourself. But randomly, I want to ask you, after the crash, because I know you were discharged on Thanksgiving, how happy was that first Christmas for you?
How happy was the first Christmas for me after sight loss while I was still going through surgeries? I remember I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat
Which is a big deal for you.
Which is, I think it's just a big deal for everybody when you can't eat.
It's true.
But I couldn't eat like anything. Everything that I had to be liquefied, like truly liquid, not even just pulverized through a food processor, but actually liquid. And so it wasn't the happiest of Christmas. It was very, very different, but there was so much family around. And I remember that family support, especially at that time of the year as I was reintegrating back into home life. The family is what I remember so much that year.
And I'm just imagining that it wasn't the favorite Christmas, other than knowing you had survived, but there was a lot of grief and mixed feelings for all of your family, for you and all your family.
Certainly. It's like everybody's trying to have, we're trying to have Christmas, but one of us is sitting there attached to a feeding tube with jaws wired shut and, covered in blankets and IV poles and things like that hanging around. It had to be different for everyone. I hope that everybody in my family was grateful that I was still there and
I know they were.
Still survived. But yeah, I mean, that was a very different Christmas.
And Christmas isn't always happy for everybody. Truthfully, we know that due to trauma, due to
loss, right?
Loss. What did people do that softened that for you? I know you mentioned family being there, but
it wasn't just family. It was all of my friends too, being home from college over Christmas break and coming to visit me. That made things a lot nicer. But again, I don't remember any of the gifts that I got that year, but I remember the people, and I remember the people filling up our house and changing some family traditions so that we could make it easier on me and my immediate family, since I wasn't very mobile at that time. It still turned out to be a very special Christmas, although mixed with bittersweetness, right? I mean,
how could it not be?
How could it not be? And how could every year not be a little bittersweet? Because time passes, right? Things change, traditions change, people come and go out of our lives. Every year is going to be a little bit different. And I think when we set our expectations too high that every year needs to be the same magical, perfectly joyful time, we're setting ourselves up for failure and disappointment, because every year can't be the same. And I think whenever I've let go of that idea of every year needs to be perfect and joyful and magical, it simply can't be. It simply can't be, right? I've lived, this is my 48th Christmas, and not everyone can be the best every year. And I think
crazy, because I'm 24.
That's right, yeah.
But I'm thinking, that it's to remember it's okay to celebrate Christmas for wherever you are in life, whatever's going on, but you can still do things for people who it isn't their best Christmas, and it could be a horrifically sad Christmas. The holidays could be really rough on. So what can you do to make it easier for them? Doesn't mean you don't have to give up your celebrations necessarily.
No,
at
but
all.
Your presence, and presence doesn't necessarily mean tangibly sitting with another person, but it does mean reaching out via phone, reaching out via text, reaching out via Facebook or email or something like that, to let somebody that you know who is struggling this year, just letting them know that you're there. Just letting them know that you're there. That's the essence of what compassion is and generosity is here at the holiday time.
And it is something we can all do. We can all pick up the phone for that person whose spouse passed away or whatever it is. We can send a card. don't forget to do that. That is part of this generosity that can and should last all year long.
Should
Because
last all year long.
that is really the spirit of Christmas. That may be a better word than magic. The spirit of Christmas is looking out and receiving gifts and saying thank you. By the way, don't say, oh, you shouldn't have. Say, thank you, I love it. Because then it makes that cycle of, it brings just more joy when you get excited and are grateful. So great gratitude, generosity, those things go together.
They do.
We can do it at the holidays, and we can do it all year long.
Do it all year long. Doesn't have to be just at the holidays. Don't wait till January 1st to start. So that's just a little bit of our Christmas spirit this year for you all. So,
and our determination going forward this year to keep that attitude of the spirit of Christmas 365 days a year, or 4 days a year,
depending on if it's a leap year. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us for this episode of Compassion and Courage, Conversations in Healthcare.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Go ahead.
So
carry on.
This is our last episode for the year. So we will see you next year.
We were going to have some changes to the podcast in 2024, and those will be forthcoming, but we think that they're things that you're going to like. Things that are going to give you more Marcus and Marveline, more inspirational stories with healthcare professionals and thought leaders. And we're just really looking forward to 2024 and what's coming next on the podcast.
Because it is our gift to you. And, if you want to be reciprocal, subscribe, share.
Yeah, subscribe,
if you find
share.
something helpful and useful. And if you don't like it, just be quiet.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah, just skip over it. So, all right. Anything else?
No, I think I'm good. But I love
are.
you, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
And happy holidays for whatever holiday you celebrate this time of year.
Thank you all so much for being with us on this episode, and we will see you next time on Compassion and Courage.